Yo, let's do this. As you can see, this is the RedZone Syn Shenron, who unfortunately he didn't get the memo. EZA Cooler's here. He's tough. He's badass, I should say. He's absolutely positively ridiculous. This team, this team already had some pretty good support with EZA Turles. It had some pretty decent support with Garlic Jr. He's kind of like an iffy statement, but this Cooler is ridiculous, bro. The fact that he's giving 50% support, bro. 50% is absolutely crazy. And his actual super condition is pretty damn good, especially for events like, I think the Broly event, as well as this event, the first phase, you can lower the attack or the defense. So he actually does get, I think in this event, he does get at least 2 supers, which helps later on, because this dude ends up having 500,000 defense off of 2 supers, which is ridiculous. And he just helps everyone so much. In this, obviously LR Cooler is getting support. Obviously he's getting the help he needs. But also, AGL full Power Frieza. Yo, hold on, let me say that louder. Full Power Frieza. A lot of people put disrespect on Frieza's name. Fraud Power Frieza. Listen, just because Frieza can't beat Cell Max doesn't mean he's ass, bro. This guy is a GOAT. This motherfucker was doing 10 million attack stat, having Cooler next to him. And with 500 million defense, ridiculous, nasty, scary. Now, as you can see here, this is a pretty good opportunity. I have the Cooler who, if I put him in the slot, he's gonna end up. I think he ends up doing 2 supers, which is pretty decent. And again, remember, this guy is helping this Frieza. So right now, everyone is floating around 250k defense. But after this Frieza gets 2 18-key supers and Cooler comes back on rotation, Lord, that 500,000 defense, that 500,000 defense was scary. I saw that, I said, oh man, that's crazy. This Cooler is amazing. This Cooler is really, really good. He's not the perfect slot 1 unit, which is fine. If he was the perfect slot 1 unit, this team be ridiculous. I don't even have the full team. If I had Phi Metal Cooler, that's another person who's part of the equation. That's ridiculous too. This team is by far it's just stacked, dude. It's literally stacked. I think movie heroes and this team just have so many characters that are support plus tank. It's ridiculous because really this Cooler is borderline being like a Piccolo, the STR Piccolo. Obviously he's not that good of a tank, but he gives so much to the team, bro. 50% boost is ridiculous, and it ends up benefiting the team as well as himself, because Cooler himself gets to about 500,000 defense, which is very respectable. With a Whis, you can tank most things with 500,000 defense. I think the only thing that I don't like about this team is that it is so STR heavy. When you think about it, who do you want to put on this team? LR Cooler, obviously. TUR Cooler, obviously. If you put Cool EZA, now you fucking super STR heavy. That's why, for the most part, if I'm running this team, I usually will substitute Cool EZA with Janemba, because that makes sense. And then run the AGL Golden Frieza just for blocking, as well as the Tech Golden Frieza for blocking as well. I think the only thing that makes this team fall apart, ironically enough, is the Golden Friezas, because, for everyone here, you could literally be 20% HP or less, and as long as you have the defense right and you have your setup right, you could survive. But then the problem is that Golden Frieza, AGL Golden Frieza, ironically enough, will not be able to tank anything because it's a flat 90% damage reduction if HP is 40% or more. And what's funny is that I've been seeing a lot more that the Tech Golden Frieza is a little bit more reliable because of this support. So when I have Tech Golden Frieza on rotation, he only does 50% damage reduction, but that's better than nothing. And another thing that's noteworthy is that if you pair that with a Whis, obviously that's something 50 plus 45 is a lot better than nothing. And then one thing to also take into consideration is that because Golden Frieza, the Tech, and the AGL do nothing for defense, all they do is damage reduction, having this Cooler, as well as having, say if you have a third form Frieza, is actually monumental. It's ridiculous how much of a difference that makes, because now you have 90% damage reduction and 50% defense, which is huge. You'll see that instead of taking, a 50K super, you're taking double digits. Instead of taking a 100K super, you're taking sub 50. Like, it makes a difference. Like, it's noticeable. Like, the support is absolutely positively ridiculous. And when you get to a situation like this, where you can safely just let TUR Cooler fall off the rotation, it's crazy, bro. There's, like, no negative repercussion to bringing this cooler. And because this team does have some options, like if you, for example, if this rotation was a little bit later, you could have transformed with Janemba and fucked around with the rotation, trying to get that slot 1 right. I think the only problem with this team is that you asked the question of who should get the stacks first, Final Form Cooler or that TUR Cooler. If you can lower the attack, I'd say TUR Cooler, because, dude, if he gets like 5 or more super attacks, you're reaching the 600K plus defense mark, which is crazy. Like that, like at that point, all you really need to do is just watch out for supers like this. As you can see, we get super to the face like a dickhead. But we actually survived. Like, Syn Shenron hits pretty hard. The fact that we took a 480K super is not great, but I don't think he's surviving that post EZA. Like, I legit don't think that's possible. And as you can see here, fortunately and unfortunately, we get the transform with Turles, which gives us more HP, but then we lose the support. But again, bro, I'm telling you, this Full Power Frieza, you need to put respect on Full Power Frieza's name. He's not a joker. He's not a fraudster. He does legitimate damage with 2 to 3 supers. Like, as you saw that first rotation, motherfucker did 3 supers, right? That's scary. I didn't even know that was possible. That's spooky. The fact that he did that is spooky. Halloween came early, right? And then right here, Full Power Frieza, because he's the first attacker and he got attacked, yeah, his attack is a little bit lower, but we're going to get 3 attacks. It ends up being 2 supers. And then a normal. But hey, listen, if you could get the crit on the normal, or the crit on the super or the normal, you're still doing a ridiculous amount of damage. As you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and kick this motherfucker through the canyons. Bye-bye, dummy, stupid. Oh, look at that. It's a 3rd attack. I don't know why I thought it was going to be a normal. I think later on I get 2 supers in the normal. Dude, this Frieza is ridiculous. Like, real talk. Like, I don't know how people really disrespect this Frieza. And this is not a Goku event. Obviously, if this was anything Goku-related, this motherfucker literally doing crits. Which is amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, at this point in time, I did bring the, whatever that dickhead, I can't remember his name, it starts with a T. I did bring him as a support item, and I do give it to this cooler. You don't know how salty I was that this cooler, I gave him so many STR orbs. I literally blessed this man, and he only gave me a single lousy crit. Like I can't stress this enough. I've done this multiple times, and I've tried this multiple times. I've gotten a little bit lucky in the past with, like, Dokkan attacks, for example. I didn't get a Dokkan this time. But, obviously, if you don't get the crit, it's not great. It's not looking great. But you'll see next turn, with Full Power Frieza paired with Final Form Cooler, and then paired with the Support Cooler, who I'm calling him Support Cooler, despite the fact that he does 5 million super attacks and has, 500k plus defense. Dude, Full Power Frieza, first slot, 10 million damage. Like, that's like, beautiful. That's amazing. That's something that usually, doesn't happen unless you stack that Frieza's attack for, like, 4 or 5 turns. Not even. You need support in order to hit that 10 million, and because that 50% is humongous, it's crazy, bro. It's absolutely insane. And as you can see here, this cooler has a nice, respectable 9 million attack, which is without support. I think if he had support, he'd honestly probably be easily doing 10, 11 plus. I think the problem that ends up happening is because Cooler is STR. Both of them are STR, and if you're ever facing an AGL, you're basically forced to float off the support Cooler, unless you have some type of situation where you would float off LR Cooler, or you just get lucky with a rotation. But, at that point, what are you complaining about? Like, were you crying about the fact that you're so rich that you don't know where to put the money? You don't know where the fuck the money belongs to the bank? Like, come on. And as you can see here, 475,000 defense for the Full Power Frieza? That's nasty. That's nasty, bro. That's after only 2 18-key supers. That is absolutely positively insane. It's not, and then obviously the cooler himself has 500k plus or 400k plus, and then the Final Form Cooler also has a defensive buff, and he's 55%, by the way. Everyone here has level 10 links in terms of like big bad boss stuff like that. Look at that, 10 million attack. When I saw that, I was like, I legit saw that. I was like, wait a second. Does AGL full power Frieza, is he getting that 50% boost? I was like, obviously he has to be getting it, because for some reason I thought that he wasn't part of the category. I think after this I even checked, because I'm like, yo, why is this motherfucker doing so much damage? As you can see, full power Frieza definitely benefiting from this cooler. He's really this cooler is ridiculous, bro. Like he is like an absolute positive monster. The fact that you can also make him more offensive. Like if I wanted to, if I had transformed him, I would have given less support, which I don't think that made sense doing that. That's why I didn't transform him. But if you transform him, he now gets guaranteed crits on pure and hybrid Saiyans. He also then gets attack and defense plus 200%, which is more than what his base form is. And then he also raises attack. So this cooler, when you think about it, say if you get to 600 or 700k defense, you're like, you know what, I'm good. I think this is a good amount of defense. You then transform. Now you're fucking raising your attack, doing Kaioken level stacks. This is a really good EZA. Not mid, no mid here. I think arguably, if he had not raised his own defense, he definitely would have been a more pure support character. I would think of him more like Turles, even if he did like the one raised defense for one turn. But the fact that he stacks defense for longer events, which there aren't many, especially with RedZone, they're shorter and shorter. But if you could get 3 or 4 supers with him, you'd be noticing this dude's defense through the roof, and you'd be noticing how much like support he gives to the rotation. It's ridiculous. This dude made this Syn Shenron run super easy. I'm probably gonna try out the Broly event later on. As you can see here, I was so befuddled, I was so brain fucked that I was like, wait a second. I was like, AGL Frieza's on this category, right? Like, this motherfucker's getting the support, right? And indeed he is. He's on transformation boost. I just had to check, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, is this cooler that good where everyone on the team is getting blessed? And the answer is yes, this motherfucker is cheesy.